going to hear from Mayor John Cooper. Chief Drake is also here, as well as Chief Swan and District Attorney Funk. At this time, Mayor John Cooper.
Well, thank you, Don. Laura and I want to express our grief and our city's grief on this unexpected day, this worst day. But let us love each other and support each other and hug each other and pray for each other and pray for our families. But also let us praise our first responders. 14 minutes, I believe under fire, running to gunfire. And then I want to thank the seamless response for federal and state authorities from our police and fire department. So this morning I was in Boston to see my own son's sporting event. Now I am overwhelmed at the thought of the loss of these families, of the future lost by these children and their families. And the leading cause of kids get death now is guns and gunfire. And that is unacceptable. But I want to thank the fast response of our officers. Guns are quick. They don't give you much time. So even in a remarkably fast response, there was not enough time. And those guns stole precious lives from us today in Nashville. And in this dark hour, let us support each other. Let us go and hug our children a little bit closer tonight. And thank you all for being here. And I want to ask Chief Drake to come and give us an update.
Thank you, Mayor Cooper. Again, thank you all for being here. Just an update from today's press conference. We've identified the shooter as Audrey Hale, 28-year-old female that lived in the Nashville area. We have investigations ongoing now at the residence at Wood Avenue. And we have made contact with the father that lived at that residence and are putting the information. We've also determined there were maps drawn of the school in detail of surveillance, entry points, etc. We know and believe that entry was gained through shooting through one of the doors is how they actually got into the school. I want to take the time to at least say, and I won't say the victims' names, I'll let Don say that, but out of the 6 victims, 3 adults, 3 of those were children. 2 of them were age 9. 1 was 8, about to be 9. All the families have been contacted. The victims' families have been contacted as well. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family. When we send our kids to school or to any place of safety, we expect them to live, learn, have fun, and come back from that day's experience. We don't anticipate things like this. And I want to say thank you to our partners, to Chief Swan, to Glenn Funk, to our mayor for his support, to our federal partners. But also I want to say thank you to our first responders who got there and immediately went in and addressed the threat of someone that had multiple rounds of ammunition, prepared for a confrontation with law enforcement, prepared to do more harm than was actually done, and we were able to stop the threat, and unfortunately, 6 victims. So my thoughts and prayers again, but the praise go to the men and women. As I've said before, we would not wait. Our day would never ever come here in this city, but we would never wait to make entry and to go in and to stop a threat, especially when it deals with our children. So thank you. They're not. Just me.
I'm going to go over the victims' names with you now. The 3 9-year-olds who were killed: Evelyn Dickhouse, William Kenny, Hallie Scruggs. 3 adults: Mike Hill, a custodian, age 61; Cynthia Peak, to my understanding, a substitute teacher, age 61; and Catherine Koontz, age 60. As Chief Drake said, we have identified the active shooter as Audrey Elizabeth Hale, age 28. We'll take just a few questions if you have any.
Don, do you believe that she was a former student?
Yes, we do. Chief, you want to address that?
Yes, from our investigations tell us that she was a former student at the school. I don't know what grade she's attended or grades, but we do firmly believe she was a student there.
She identifies transgender.
She does identify as transgender, yes.
Is there any reason to believe the shooter first went to the church before going to the school?
I can't give you that information. Should we know that the minute the calls came in, we responded to the church, so to the school.
To the school.
Yeah.
You had was there like 2 officers that went in when they first got there? Do you know how many there was when they first entered?
So it was 5 officers that immediately went in and addressed. We have video that we're going to release, but you can see in the video, you can hear gunfire going on as they're in the school. They address the threat and take that threat down.
And Chief, what do we know about her weapons?
So we know there were 2 AR-style weapons, one a rifle, another was an AR-style pistol, and the other was a handgun. We believe 2 of those may have been obtained legally, locally here.
Can you confirm that one of the adult victims, Catherine Cooks, was head of the school?
Was what?
Was head of the school?
There was some, I don't know her exact capacity within the school, but it was higher up in the echelon.
And were any of the children victims related to any of the school staff?
Unsure. I believe one may have been, but I can't confirm that.
Did the shooter have any criminal history at all?
No history at all.
And no motive at this point? Anything discovered in the apartment or house?
No, we have a manifesto. We have some writings that we're going over that pertain to this date, the actual incident. We have a map drawn out of how this was all going to take place. There's right now a theory of that we may be able to talk about later, but it's not confirmed, and so we'll put that out as soon as we can.
And Chief, is there any reason to believe that how she identifies you would like?
I'm sorry, I knocked someone's mic over. I didn't hear you. Say that again, sir.
Is there any reason to believe that how she identifies has any motive for targeting the school?
We can give you that at a later time. There is some theory to that. We're investigating all the leads, and once we know exactly, we'll let you know.
So was this a targeted attack?
It was.
Do we know about a history of mental man or woman?
Don't know any history of mental illness at this time, but we are looking at that as the investigation is ongoing. And I'm sorry.
Did she identify as a transgender man or woman?
Woman.
Was it the only school that was targeted?
It was the only school that was targeted. There was another location that was mentioned, but because of a threat assessment by the suspect, too much security, they decided not to. And that area was here in Nashville, so we're continuing with that investigation as well. Right now, we believe it's a lone assailant, and we don't anticipate any further damage at this time, but we're still investigating.
The Brightwood address. She lived there with her parents? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
So the scene is going to be processed throughout the night, probably into tomorrow. This is an extensive scene. As you know, she entered the building, which is one structure. The church and the school are in one building. She entered on the lower floor. There were shots far. She went to the upper level, and it was on the upper level where she was confronted by police and killed. the scene processing will take place over at least 2 days, today and tomorrow. And we'll have more details for you, including the release of video, perhaps tonight, but if not tonight, certainly tomorrow. Thank you.
Looks like Metro Police are wrapping up their news conference there, and a couple of things stand out. So we are definitely learning more here. They have identified the shooter as Audrey Hale, a 28-year-old female. They say that they have found in her family home maps indicating entry points to the school and a manifesto of sorts about what was supposed to unfold or what did unfold today, and that they do have a working theory on a motive, but they're not yet ready to release that.
They also have video that they're going to release as well. He says up to 2 days, maybe tonight, if not at earliest tomorrow morning, they're going to release that video. They also said that it was a lone assailant, just one person with a manifesto that did these crimes.
And they do say that this is a targeted attack. They have made contact with the suspected shooter's father. Apparently, they all live together at this home that we've been bringing you live reports from. Our chief investigator, Jeremy Finley, has been telling us about some of the activity unfolding at that location in the 12 South neighborhood. And so they have made contact with the father who lived at the home. They're hoping that they can learn a little bit more through interviews with the dad. But we've also learned a little bit more about the other adult victims in this case.
Yeah, we know that Mike Hill, 61, was a custodian at the school. We also know that Cynthia Peak, also age 61, was a substitute teacher there, two of the adult victims that passed away.
This is just a lot to digest. So if you're just joining us, we have been following all day a shooting that unfolded at the Covenant School. It's pre-K through 6th grade in Green Hills, a private school. 3 children, all age 9. One of them was about to turn 9, are dead in this shooting, and 3 adults as well, including the head of the school.
We know their names. I'll give them to you now. Evelyn Dickhouse, age 9. Haley Scruggs, 9 years old. William Kinney, also 9. Mike Hill, the custodian we talked about, was 61 years of age. Cynthia Peak, the substitute teacher that was there today, 61 years old. And Catherine Kuntz, the head mistress, they're 60 years old.
And we know a lot of families are going to be faced with a really difficult task if they haven't already been faced with it yet today. How do I talk to my own children about what happened? How do we have those conversations? And more importantly, how do I support them? And this is something that Joylyn Bukovac, one of our reporters who has been covering this for us all morning long, has a pretty close connection to. She's been through this before herself.
Yeah, Joylyn, we want to send it out to you. And I mean, you can put a perspective on this that a lot of us just can't even grasp.
Yeah, I was actually in middle school whenever I experienced my school shooting that happened. It happened about 13 years ago. And it's a shame that this is a conversation that we need to talk about. It was Discovery Middle School, what you're seeing on your screen right there. And I was in 8th grade at the time, and a student opened fire during break. I was in that hallway, and one of my peers was shot and killed, unfortunately. I think about him and his family often. My prayers are constantly with them, and it's something that I relive pretty often. It's something that sticks with you. And just going through that shock as well, whenever you hear shots ring out at a school, a place that you're supposed to feel safe, my mind didn't even go to shots fired at first. I thought a balloon popped. And then once people were yelling, he's been shot, he's been shot. And sure enough, one of my peers was on the ground. I knew, this was getting serious. We needed to hide. We needed to get away. We needed to do something. So I hid underneath the risers of my choir class, and my teacher made sure to take our phones, turn them off. And it was really tough. The unknowns is what was really tough. I wanted to tell my family. I tried to call my mom, and I scared her since she missed my call and wasn't able to contact me back. And I really wanted to tell them that I love them, and I didn't know what was going to unfold. I didn't know where the shooter was. So that was terrifying. And just the shock that's running through your body, it's tough to describe. So my heart and prayers with the family now. As parents, I'm a parent now myself, and it's really, really tough for parents to walk their children through this. Don't be surprised if your child is in shock and don't want to talk right now, and that's okay. Just open up that line of communication and let them approach you when they're ready. So that's what's really important for these families to keep in mind. And if anyone needs anything, you can contact me. I'd be happy to help.
All right, and that worked for you. So Joy Lynn trying to pass along some advice from being in these students' shoes to what helped her. Maybe this is something that could help your children at home, just to have those conversations. Joy Lynn, thanks.
Well, we want to get you back out to our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley. Jeremy, what have you learned since we've last seen you, especially after police have started connecting some of the dots with this Hale home?
Yeah, we're understanding a lot more, Marius, about what happened here this afternoon. So what we know for certain is that around 1:30 this afternoon, police came here to this neighborhood. We're on Brightwood Avenue in the 12 South area. I'm going to show you why police came here. They came here for the house that you're seeing there, 3005 Brightwood Avenue. That is the home of the Hale family. The news conference just confirmed that the family living there is the Hale family, and that Audrey Hale, the now named shooter at the Covenant School, lived in this home. We do have video of what happened, but more importantly, we have eyewitnesses that were here to describe to us exactly what happened. They said about 1:30, they heard what sounded like a flash bomb or a grenade go off at this house. And if you look closely at the door, again from this angle, it isn't great to see, but you can see that the front door of the home was blown apart. Witnesses then tell us that SWAT team members of the FBI then entered the home. More explosions went off inside. From what we are told from witnesses, that it did not appear that anyone was home, that no one came out that time. The police presence here was extremely heavy. We're going to pan right over now so you can see the number of law enforcement that are standing out on the street right now. This is just a fraction of what we've seen. At one time, I counted about 20 different officers who are out here. The FBI is here, the SWAT are here. Again, all part of the team that descended here at 3005 Brightwood. The home we now know belongs to the school shooter, identified by police, Hale. Other things that we know for certain is that we are not far from the Covenant School at all. In fact, if Hale did school while living at this home, it would make sense, very close proximity-wise. We have spoken with several witnesses, but as you can see, we are blocked off. This end of the Brightwood is blocked off, your end is blocked off, so we haven't been able to get in close. I'm going to direct my partner, Jason, to pan over again so you can see. This is what police officers have been doing throughout the afternoon. They've been, it looks like that they are reviewing some kind of plans. It's hard for me to see because of where the truck is where a truck is located in the mailbox, but I'm actually going to walk onto the other side here and see. It looks like they've got some kind of table set up or something where they can review again plans that they are going over, maybe some details about what they found inside, but they keep coming back to that section and looking at what it is right now. A member of the SWAT team just walked into the home through that shattered front door that was there's an individual standing there as well that just came out, but this is going to be a major focus of this criminal investigation. This is identified by police as the home where the shooter lived. They're going to be going through everything that is inside this home, and obviously, because they had to use flash grenades, they had to use explosives to get into the home. Obviously, there was no way it could be. And I'll tell you that a short while ago, WSMV4 Investigates aired a story about new technology that is available now to schools, talking about how quickly police can move into classrooms, research for I was able to read through the Uvalde investigation, and one of the major complaints found about how response was done at that school was that how long police waited to confront the shooter in Uvalde and risking their lives, no doubt. So that's a key difference what happened. What happened here. This is also explains why so quickly police came to us once she was identified as a suspect, and then used every means necessary to get inside the house. Question is, was anybody at the time? We obviously don't know. We're waiting to get more of that information, but it's what's inside that house that is going to be key for police. This, where she lived, according to police. This is where whatever information that she was gathering or whatever details she had. We know that she was a prior student of the school. We don't know much about her, but we are investigating at this moment to try and get more information. But you can see now that the police officers are once again, and the SWAT team members are going inside the house, trying to get as many details as they can. Using a flash grenade like that, they know what they risk. They know that they risk damaging anything inside just to get inside. But these men and women are professionals, and they know that if they have to get inside, they have to get in quick. We also hear from witnesses that they heard repeated explosions inside. So it is unclear if they needed to try to get into other locations. We hope to get some more information about that in the next press briefing. The cars coming through this neighborhood right now, pulling right up in front. You heard it just then. That was the sound that police and witnesses described hearing, was that sound, that loud pop. And it was so loud, several of the witnesses that we spoke with said that they could feel it throughout all of the house. Strong coming through the neighborhood. That's how strong it was. Looks like now we've had a car that's just pulled up out front. We're unclear why, if that is another member of the law enforcement or who that is. We're waiting to find out. But this has been a very busy location throughout the afternoon. It happened about 1:30 this afternoon. And from that point on, people started hearing the explosions from the flash grenades or soft grenades, whatever they used. We hope to find that out in just a moment from what exactly they used. But the witnesses were all very clear in how loud it was, the force of what it was. I have been able to ask several of the witnesses if they knew Audrey Hale, if they knew the family. All of the people we've spoken to so far live farther down the street. So the folks that live a little bit closer, they have not. I'm watching out of the corner of my eye and seeing law enforcement still standing outside, but many of them are now inside the house. Undercover detectives as well as there. So we're trying to be respectful and not show many of their identities if we can avoid that. But again, this is going to become sadly one of the ground zeros in this investigation. Obviously, the Covenant School is going to be the major location, but this is where they're going to get a lot of their answers. And in the next hours and days, as we try to understand who this young woman was and why she did this, and this house is going to be a key part of that. We had a lot more questions to ask and a lot more answers to find out. But for now, I'm going to throw it back to you all.
Jeremy, just a question before we let you go. I mean, we are hearing some interesting details confirmed by police within this latest news briefing. They're talking about maps that detailed entry points into the school and a manifesto of sorts that they were able to find, and that they have been able to make contact with the father. Have you seen police walking out of this family home with evidence of any kind? Usually you kind of see them coming in and going.
Sure, absolutely. And that's what we've been watching too. We've been watching to see, and we're still at a pretty good distance. So if we can zoom in with our lenses, we can see a little bit closer. But from where we're being kept back with the crime scene tape, it's still, several yards away from us to be able to see if they're bringing anything out. But we know this for certain. No people have come out of this house that weren't law enforcement. Again, they seem to be gathering in the front at a table there. We're not seeing them haul out equipment, anything like that at this point. That would be something that we're obviously waiting on to see if they're going to bring this in for their own crime lab, perhaps work with a TBI crime lab to try to analyze whatever's inside. But you're right about that. That is going to be a key part of this. If there is a manifesto that gives any type of descriptions, obviously if this woman She knows it well and would know where to go in, even if she hadn't been a member of the school for some time. And obviously, if they haven't been able to reach the father, if they haven't been able to reach any family members, then they really had no choice but to go inside and use those flash grenades or soft grenades to try and get inside. So we'll be very interested to try and get some more information about what they're finding out inside the house, what they're going to potentially be bringing outside of the house, all of that information in the next couple hours, guys.
Jerry, we talked about the manifesto, we talked about the maps, we talked about the date, this specific date. Chief Drake told us that this was a targeted shooting. I guess the one of the main focuses of this investigation is who Audrey Hale may have been targeting.
Right. And I think that obviously that's the question that everyone's going to ask, right? I mean, of course, everyone's going to be grieving for so long as a result of this, but it is human nature for us to say why. Why did this happen? Why did the woman who lives at this home, 28 years old, a graduate of the school, why would she do this to the school that she attended? What sparked her to take this action? What happened inside that house? If any of it had to do with her mental state, we don't know. All we can go on at this point is public records showing that her parents owned the home, that they do have a daughter by the name of Audrey. We were able to confirm that before the news conference. And all of the people that we're speaking with, again, on this side of the crime scene tape, a little bit further down the street, they don't know the family. But you can see that this is a really sweet neighborhood. Right across the street is a child's play toys outside. There's a golf cart right up here. This is a really sweet neighborhood where, you know, people live their lives day in and day out. There's a number of renters here as well. We're hearing children playing in the background as we've been standing here reporting. So this is a very residential area. And, you know, there's a good chance that people may have known them, especially if they have lived here for some time. We have seen no members come out of any of these houses, but a lot of people standing here with the rest of us just trying to get some information. Because as you said, Marius, that's the key we're going to be asking ourselves over and over again is why would this happen? And when you research school shootings, as we have done for our prior investigations, you will see that a 28-year-old woman is not the usual MO. You know, not that matters at all in the grand scheme of things, but, you know, this is, listening to what Chief Drake said, is that he kept hoping that this wasn't ever going to happen here. And now it has. And now we not only have the Covenant School that we're watching, and of course, Woodmont Baptist Church, where the reunification was happening, but now we're also watching this neighborhood, this street on Brightwood Avenue in 12 South, where the shooter lived. And we don't know if she lived there alone. We don't know if her parents lived with her. We only know what the property records show, which is that they owned the house. So we are hoping to get some more information exactly about what happened here, what may be inside that house in the coming hours. Marius.
Jeremy Finley, thank you so much. Jeremy has been on scene all morning covering this for us, getting the very latest information, and we're going to be heading back out to him shortly as he digs or as he finds more information.
I mean, that's kind of the place to start if you want to know more about the suspected shooter. You kind of go to where they live. Your neighbors typically know a lot about you. And so that's where he is trying to get information as we work to learn a little bit more. We want to take you back in time to hear a little bit more from Chief Drake, who addressed the media just moments ago and revealed some pretty interesting new information about a manifesto, a map that they found that had detailed different entry points.
Female white, actually a Nashvilleian or lives in the Nashville area. We are having ongoing investigation as it pertains to her at this time. From my initial findings is that at one point she was a student at that school, but unsure what year all of
this conference within the last few minutes. He also gave us a little bit more insight, right?
Yes.
About how she made entry through the side door at the school.
Okay, guys. So y'all. Okay, guys. So if you guys are just breaking into this heartbreaking story, you will learn that here in Nashville today. Here at a private school today at Covenant Christian School, there was a mass shooting where 3 children were killed, ages 8 and 9, and 3 adults in their 60s. The head mistress was among one of the ones deceased, as well as a janitor and a substitute teacher. That is just heartbreaking to think. It's like if this was her, first time substituting there, and she's happy about her substitute job, and end up losing her life today. So I'm going to share the facts that we know right now, and then I'm going to end this video. But the facts that we do share are that at first they were stating that it was a teen, and we've learned that it was not a teenager, but in fact a 28-year-old white female, which they say it's only been 3 females that have committed a mass shooting since 1982. Not that that matters, but normally mass shootings are done by men. And also, we know that she is a former student of the school. And we also know that the police and SWAT ATF have found her home. They've entered the home and have received some types of maps, plans, like a mistake. Like basically, this was a targeted situation, is what they're trying to say. They're having a candlelight prayer visual tonight. They're having a candle visual tomorrow. I'm sorry, Tuesday, March the 28th. On March the 28th at 6:30 p.m., there will be a candlelight visual for the victims who lost their lives. So if you'd like to attend that, you can attend that candlelight visual. I'm sure it's going to be at the Covenant School, which that is where the incident occurred. Again, this is a heartbreaking incident. This could have easily been any school around here, including the school of my own children. So prayers to the families who lost, their babies, and prayers to the husband or the wives, or that lost the other members who were killed as well. Before I end this, I want you guys to just hear what the White House had to say about the incident, because again, this is trending worldwide. Yeah, so all over the U.S., this is trending all over the U.S. This is terrible. So this is from a source, Fox 17, which is also a news station here in Nashville, where the White House had a press conference about the incident.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. So we're seeing the heartbreaking news of another shooting of innocent school children, this time in Nashville, Tennessee. The president has been briefed on this situation, and our team is in contact with DOJ and local officials about what is known so far. We want to express the president's appreciation for the first responders and prayers for all the families affected by this shooting. While we don't know yet all the details in this latest tragic shooting, we know that too often our schools and communities are being devastated by gun violence. Schools should be safe spaces for our kids to grow and learn, and for our educators to teach. As you all know, President Biden has taken more action than any president in history on gun safety, from nearly two dozen actions, including the executive order he just signed last month, or this month, pardon me, to the bipartisan Safer Communities Act legislation he signed into law after the tragedies in Uvalde and Buffalo. He also believes it's not enough. We must do more, and he wants Congress to act, because enough is enough. In his State of the Union, the president called on Congress to do something to stop the epidemic of gun violence, tearing families apart, tearing communities apart. How many more children have to be murdered before Republicans in Congress will step up and act to pass the assault weapons ban, to close loopholes in our background check system, or to require the safe storage of guns? We need to do something. Once again, the president calls on Congress to do something before another child is senselessly killed in a preventable act of gun violence. Again, we need to do something.
Also going to be a candlelight vigil tonight, and I'm just looking at a full screen graphic. I'm sure it will be one of many, but a candlelight prayer vigil Tuesday, so not tonight, but tomorrow night, March 28th, at the City Center, and it says everyone is welcome. I think there is another. We're receiving, reports of these things via social media, and I'm sure you guys will see them as well.
You mentioned Belmont. Is that what you were talking about?
This is a different one, and I'm
okay.
looking for the one at Belmont.
Right here, Belmont.
You see that one?
Yes.
Okay.
So Belmont.
So yes, guys, as you can see, we had a tragedy happen this morning here in Nashville, right in my backyard, where 3 children are among the dead, as well as 3 adults and the female white shooter as well. So this just makes me want to homeschool my children more and more when I see stuff like this, because there's no way, that the teacher actually can protect the child. And it's like, why should the teacher have to be armed with a weapon, where school is supposed to be safe? But then on the other hand, it's the push for basically for the gun laws to be where no one can have a gun. So then it makes me think of those things as well. Like, how far will they go to push, laws through? But again, prayers to the families who lost their babies ages 8 and 9. Prayers to the head mistress's family and the other families that didn't make it as that lost loved ones as well. And if there's any updates on the situation, I will come back firsthand with that breaking news information. I'd like to thank all of you for joining me on this live. And again, this is a tragedy, and it could have happened at any school. I'm just thankful that my babies are okay, and prayers for those families that lost their babies. Everyone have a great day and enjoy the rest of your evening.